Hello and welcome back to the British and Irish Eagles podcast. We're back, baby, and it is good to be back. Training camp has started. We've been tracking how they've all been doing, their reps, their catches, their touchdowns, their sacks, their interceptions, their drops. We've been looking at it all, and all the beat writers reporting out of Philadelphia itself. And we've got a special podcast today, as we always do in the off-season. We are welcomed by a very, very good friend of the podcast, who I will let Phil introduce in just a second. But before I do that, Mick, how the devil are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, mate. Can't wait to get into a bit of training camp noise and what's been happening around the Eagles. And it's getting exciting because it's getting towards the season, so looking forward to it.
I know we've got our NFC East special draft, which we're going to do today. So, Phil, I'll bring you in, sir. How are you? And introduce our illustrious guest, please.
Yeah, good friend of ours. I'm good, man. Still waiting to start my job. So I'm technically unemployed. So all the prep work for tonight has been done by me because I have nothing better to do with my life.
Good man.
But yeah, we've got one of the Shall We Football boys with us tonight, AJ.
Yeah, boy.
I bang on quite a lot about as one of the podcasts that's quite a firm fixture in my listenership. So it's every week listening to AJ, Ryan, and Colt, who have started out on this lowly podcast a couple of years ago, just making each other laugh, and especially me and everyone else listening. And now they're sort of big time, almost too big time for us because we've only got one of them tonight. And working with Rasball. But I'll introduce you now to AJ. Just want to, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Phil. I'm also waiting for you to get a job.
Oh, that's awesome, AJ. It's great. It really is great to have you on the podcast. I'm another listener myself of Shall We Football podcast, and it's one that we all enjoy. If you don't listen to it out there and you're listening in, where can we hear you, pal?
Well, if you go to at SWF_podcast on well, geez, fellas, I was about to say Twitter. Don't go there. You won't find us there. What you need to go to is X. I'm assuming .com. I don't know if they managed to wrangle that one. I don't know if that was taken or not. But I guess go to the artist formerly known as Twitter, and you can find us at SWF_pod. And now we are packed with real Rasball flavor. That's at Rasball or at Rasball NFL. They give us all the juice that we need to do our good football stuff.
Amazing. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Looking forward to getting into the podcast today, guys. So just by way of an agenda for those listening live, we are live tonight. We're not often live, but we are live this evening. And those listening to all of our streaming services, agenda is as follows. We're going to look and talk about some of the training camp news stories that have come out so far. We'll look at some of the battles that we talked about with Ellie Shore Parks last week, and we talked about loosely with Coach Singleton, see how the running backs are doing now that he's got them all working in tandem this last week. After that, we are going to go into the big part of this podcast, and that is to do our NFC East draft, where myself, Mick, Phil, and AJ are going to draft our best sleeper team, our best offensive sleeper team, on sleeper, obviously, and the winner of this during the season is going to ask the loser to donate a fixed sum to charity. So we're going to do a few of these games this year, try and raise as much money as charity as we can. And I am the reigning champion. So I hope you're all quaking in your boots from last year. Although I didn't get to win anything last year, so sod's law, I will come last this year and have to donate money to charity, which is absolutely fine by me anyway. So without any further ado, folks, let's get into some training camp discussion. And Mick, I'm just going to bring you in first here. Have you got anyone in particular in mind who you've looked at in training camp, or a couple of people in training camp who you've been really impressed with or surprised with, I suppose, who maybe you weren't expecting to see shine as much as they have so far in camp?
You know, there is a guy that's been talked about training camp so far, and I don't know if I'm entirely happy with it, and that man is Kayvon Wallace. He has been getting a lot of reps alongside Reed Blankenship at safety with the first team 11 on 11s. Now, I think everyone knows my feelings on Kevon Wallace. I really liked him when we drafted him from Clemson, and since day one, from day one to now, he's never impressed me. He's never impressed what he's done on the field. What he does in practice has just been blah, not interested. And I didn't even want him on the roster last year, if you remember. So it surprised the hell out of me to see the beat writers talk about Kevon Wallace taking first team reps, even though we know we've got a problem in the backfield with the safeties. Reed Blankenship looks to be the number one safety, and it's just who's going to start next to Reed Blankenship. Obviously, we took Sidney Brown in the draft. We're expecting a lot coming from this guy. There's a lot of hype around him, and from the front office, they said, he was one of the guys that, what was it? They marked him green or something on the draft board. That it was a guy they definitely wanted in the building. But he's been taking most of his reps with the third team at the moment, which, you expect from rookies and things like that. We also brought in Terrell Edmonds, who AJ will be very familiar with from his Steelers fandom. But Kevon Wallace is getting the reps, and I don't know how to feel.
Just bringing AJ on that there, give us your Edmonds take, AJ. You see him suiting up as a starter for the Eagles this year? Do you think his potential is never going to be filled? What's your feeling on him now he's gone?
It's forever skewed, and it's for what you just said. He was a first-round draft pick, and he's next to another first-round draft pick that the Steelers didn't make, but they traded for, and that's Minkah Fitzpatrick. And when they played next to each other, I mean, it was pro in college, basically. So, but the Eagles didn't draft him, so the Eagles don't have to think about in the back of their mind, we did not get what we paid for here. They probably will get what they paid for. Hopefully, he's not going to be a focal point in the safety room, but I don't know. I mean, he can fill run lanes. I don't think he's a liability in coverage, but I don't think you're going to get what you got last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those position groups which is up in battle at the moment. You've talked about it already, Mick. That I think we'll just be happy if we get a standard producing safety who doesn't screw up too often. So if we can get that out of him and he's serviceable in one of the positions that Harry Roseman does not value, as we've seen with CJGJ going this year with the unwillingness to pay him what he thought he deserved, and obviously our thoughts go up to him now with the injury he's had. No one wishes an injury on anyone, but maybe he shouldn't have been talking smack about the Birds the other day. I don't know.
I think he's
go Birds. Terrell Edmonds, he's part of a family of his brother. I do believe it's his brother, Tremaine Edmonds, former first-round draft pick. These guys are you're going to get a dude that plays hard and has all the physical skills to do it. I don't know. Maybe the Eagles can unlock something that wasn't going to happen in Pittsburgh because the physical tools are absolutely there.
I hope so. Phil, what about you? You got anyone you've been looking at in camp while you're not working? I'm sure you've been scouring over every tweet from every beat writer. What's going on? Who's doing well? Apparently you're not looking after your baby, but
well, that's what I was going to say. And so I might be unemployed, but I'm not sat around, trying to break my own personal record or anything.
If you knew what were they microfacial expressions, you could have seen Phil's face do this thing that if you translate it said what baby ? I know it was very subtle, but it was there.
Yeah. A little twitch of the lower lip to the left quadrant. Yeah.
There's two things on that one. It's the first night. He's only literally just got down now. It was a bit of panic. For one time we decided to go live. He decides to just start being normal, not sleepy, not tired, just this is middle of the day for me. So that was a bit of a panic. But back to the more and more.
Do you mean the important question? Oh, okay,
important question. Yeah. Well, Mick, as our members will know, has been publicised. Mick's done a fantastic job of tracking all the training camp noise that's been going on the all sides of the ball. But there's one particular bit that I did struck my attention, which was Derek Barnett getting his contract restructured. Which
Derek who?
What's his full name?
Derek fucking Barnett. He, as anyone who's been listening to us for a while will know, he's a particular penchant of mine to get criticised. Back in the days when we were flag Eagles flag, he was the main culprit, and
those were the days.
It's safe to say we all wanted him gone, but he seems to have stuck around. He's restructured his contract, and it's now more team friendly and more appearance based, which, based on his injury history, is good for the team. And at the end of the day, at least indicating that he's not anywhere near the starting defensive line group. So he's obviously on the periphery, and he's probably, for what it's worth, when he wasn't causing flags, he was making a few decent plays. So I guess it's good to still have him around. And I said to Mick the other day, I'm ready to be hurt again. So let's hope that he comes in and he doesn't go back to his old ways and be head of the Bonehead Cafe.
I get there's a quote there, Mick, which I think we're going to need to extract. I guess it's good we've still got him around. I just want to see how long that quote lasts this season. I'm going to go to left field here. I've been looking at the wide receiver position at the moment. It's become more and more evident as if we didn't know that we have the best 1-2 wide receiver punch we've ever had in the Eagles, certainly in the last 20 years, probably ever. In terms of talent and production, we've seen it over the last season, and we're seeing it in training camp. I know it doesn't mean a lot, but they're just absolute studs. Jalen Hurts is picking them out deep to Brown, across the middle, cutting down into the corner of the touchdown end zone, to Smith. I mean, he's literally just carving the field up and finding his men again and again with those two. I think there was maybe 1 out of the 8 of the 16 to 20 targets they've had so far where it wasn't a reception, and that wasn't a drop. That was a pass breakup, I believe. So the actual level that they're operating at is insane. But that's not what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about the wide receiver 3 position, because there are a few wide receivers who are up for that position. And there's one, Joseph Ngata, who out of nowhere has been getting some reps and making some plays and making some catches. Covey has looked better. So has Kane. Zacchaeus has looked okay. I think he's made a couple of really big splash plays, but not a lot of consistent targets from what I've seen either. I've just found that wide receiving room is going to continue to be one of the more interesting rooms, specifically wide receiver 3 position, as we get closer and closer to preseason and during preseason, to see what those guys do turn up and do in games. We know it doesn't often mean a lot, and it means what happens when they get their chance on the field, if they do get a chance to suit up on game day Sunday. But it's been interesting to see the guys that are fighting for those positions. Most of the chat being that they're doing a good job. We're not hearing bad news coming from that side of the camp. So I don't know, Mick, have you seen similar? Oh, he's on mute on live TV. He's on mute.
Unbelievable.
Fine. That is a fine.
Because I'm nursing this cold, so I'm trying not to sniff up my microphone. That's the excuse anyway. No, I think wide receiver 3 is going to be a good camp battle this year, especially with all the young new DFAs that we have. And with, what we got out of Quez last season wasn't perfect. He seems to be a camp darling. He was great last camp. He looks again to be pretty good this camp. He's turned up in great shape, and he's catching the balls that are thrown his way, and that's what we need to see. That's what we spoke about when we were talking to ESP last week. When his number's called, you need someone reliable that's going to catch the ball, because let's face it, 9 times out of 10, the ball is not going to come his way. It's going to go to AJ Brown. It's going to go to Devontae Smith. It's going to go to Dallas Goedert. It's going to go to Swift, making catches out the backfield as well. So we've got so many options. But the thing is, and Nick Sirianni should be preaching this and know this, being a previous wide receivers coach himself, that they can't run routes and then stop because they know they're not getting the ball. That's unacceptable. And we saw Quez do that quite a few times. Last year we saw him do it in the Super Bowl, which is for me, unforgivable. And there's a lot of young guys nipping at his heels. You say Joseph Ngata out of Clemson, he's got the pedigree, he's got the size, he's got the look about him. Dion Kane's another one who was the USFL MVP in the championship game over there. So, I mean, Quez's position is precarious at the moment, and he has to step up.
He has played well. I mean, it's not like we've heard him do. I say play well. I mean in training camp. He's done well in training camp. That's the news we're hearing out of camp. His speed is obviously there. It's always been there. But it is interesting. You talk about his position really being up for to go here, because Sirianni has been saying in his press conferences that Quez is the number 3 guy. They believe in him. They want him back this year, and they've got competition. Obviously, we know a lot of that is just lip service because he wants Quez to be given as much opportunity as he possibly can. But you mentioned a player there who wasn't a wide receiver catching the ball, and that's DeAndre Swift. And AJ, I wanted to bring you in here on the running back room for the Eagles, because it is one of the most talked about rooms I'd say probably in the NFL in terms of who is going to be the starting running back. When you look at DeAndre Swift, you look at Rashard Penny, both been number 1 running backs. Kenneth Gainwell, we saw how well he played in the playoffs. Boston Scott has always been good when he's been looked to. Trey Sermon, coming out of college, was supposed to be an absolute hit wonder and has done again, what seems like really good things in training camp so far. Looked good on the practice squad last season. Coach Singleton talked highly of all 5 of these guys and basically said all 5 of them had a chance of being the running back 1. Now we know it's probably going to be Swift or Penny, but just from your 2 pence, AJ, like, who out of those guys do you see taking that number 1 running back position? I mean, if they say healthy is another question altogether.
Yeah, I can give you both of my Rashard Pennies. I think it's going to be DeAndre Swift because he's got the ability to do everything. I think it's interesting that he's getting snaps in the slot. You guys have an in with the running back room for the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. Is this? Do you think this will be enough for? I think it's Swift. It's got to be Swift, right? He was brought in, and this might be a 1A, 1B situation, but I think Swift, does Swift get like McCaffrey treatment? Does he line up everywhere and anywhere? Because I certainly think he's got the ability to do it. I think he's that talented.
So I think when we spoke to Coach a couple of weeks ago, Coach, it was a really interesting podcast for a number of reasons, and I'm not just saying that. First was how he's going to use the Eagles room moving forward, running back room moving forward, and how he believes the running back room should be used around the league. And that is, you need a room full of running backs. You run by committee, you don't run by workhorse. And he was, and he talked about Swift, and he talked about his pass catching ability. Jesus, that was hard to get out. And he also talked about Rashard Penny's yards per average per gain every time he made a rush. And he talked about the rest of them. He talked about Trey, he talked about Kenny G having a good run. He talked about Boston Scott. I genuinely think he wants a running back room that is good and ready for every occasion. I personally, if Penny and Gainwell are fit, I don't see Swift getting like 70% of the running back snaps or like 60% of the running back snaps. Perhaps he does line up in a different area of the field. I personally see it more as a 1A, 1B dynamic. I think he's going to use Penny as the workhorse. And he's going to use Swift as the, check down guy, between the tackles guy. That's how I see it running, but I think a lot of it is to do with the injuries that happen, either in training camp or during the season, or don't happen at all. What about you, Phil? Where are you seeing it right now as we sit here?
It's exactly as you said, and Coach basically said it all when he was on the podcast, saying that you've got so many different options and there's no such thing anymore. His belief of an every down back, it's not sustainable for a human being to run through a brick wall 17 times a game, and I think when you've got someone like Rashard Penny coming in on a cheap deal, basically because he's injured all the time, he's not going to be a guy who's going to be doing that either. And I think the fact they've got 5 more than serviceable running backs in the building and they can use them in any way they see fit, depending on each individual back's skill set, will give the offensive coaching staff a more than adequate skill set to use themselves. They can decide how they want to run them in each play, and like AJ said with Swift and him lining up pretty much wherever, could be a sort of McCaffrey role. I mean, that would be great if we could have a player like that that's sort of a bit of the enigma, maybe can throw a touchdown pass like McCaffrey did last season as well, and that would be even better. But,
is that a bold prediction coming through
no,
already?
No, not even in the slightest. But if we're talking fancy plays and the ability to sort of run out anything they want, I think it could be better. I think we'd both feel a bit more comfortable if we had a solid RB1. I think, despite what we're saying, you want your guy, and because Miles Sanders is gone, and pretty much everyone apart from Gainwell and Scott and Spo Sermon as well are the only people returning, and neither one of them are a sniff at an RB1. Maybe Gainwell could become one, but I just don't think he could. He really will be. But I think overall, I'm happy with the situation because I like the flexibility and the room for creativity, and seeing what's going to happen excites me. But hey, if it doesn't get off to a good start and they can't start out the running game, it's not something you can easily fix. I
mean, I'm going to put this question out to all three of you here. Name me a defense that could stop this play, right? A run action play, right? Pass action play with Jalen Hurts, takes the ball. We've got Swift coming behind, fakes the handoff. Swift turns off to the side, goes around the lines for the check down. You've got AJ Brown, you've got Devontae Smith, you've got Dallas Goedert running the seam route, right? And at the same time, Jalen could break off and rush the ball. I mean, and then you've got Quez taking it to the house, going downfield looking for the long ball. I mean, who is going to stop that play with all those options, no matter what happens, unless the offensive line completely collapses, of course. I mean, it's crazy.
It really is. It's so we're just talking about the running backs at this specific time, but yeah, when you put the first game of the season, when all those options are on the field and it's game time, it's serious. This isn't training. This isn't spreading it around. This isn't trying to find out about stuff. This is go time, and you've got those options. Patriots. Even Bill Belichick's going to struggle to manage that, I think.
Well, he's also going to struggle to watch the Barbie film, which he says he won't watch. He apparently prefers Oppenheimer.
Who was actually? Anyone seen that here? I ain't.
My fiance's been twice already. AJ, yeah. I'm sure you've been to Barbie, AJ.
I haven't. Not exactly Hannah's bag.
Okay.
I'm in love with a hippie.
Yeah, I like it. All right, good stuff. Okay, on the defensive side of the ball, just looking at what we've seen in training camp so far, there's been a lot of talk. And I'll bring you in here, Mick, about Mr. Nolan Smith. Ooh. How excited are you by this Bulldog and what he can do? Have you heard about, by the way, before we go into that, we heard about the Eagles Bulldogs WhatsApp group. Apparently it's kicking off.
Yes. I think was it Jordan Davis that was asked about it at the podium. Yeah. And he said, got a WhatsApp group and we walk each other's dogs and take care of each other. All that sort of
Pet each other.
I just really hope it wasn't a euphemism, you know. But whatever you're into. But no, Nolan Smith has been killing it in camp, and I've heard from numerous beat writers, numerous sources, online that have said Nolan Smith could be the steal of this draft when he was taken. He fell all the way down to 30. We were talking 30. Pre-draft that we would be happy taking him at 10th overall.
Yeah.
And it turned out we got Jalen Carter at 9, and then and Nolan Smith fell all the way down to 30. How did that happen? The guy is an athletic freak. It's already been mentioned by a lot of the beat writers. They're saying not only is he have elite speed off the edge, setting the edge, but he's also been really good in coverage as well when they're dropping him as that outside linebacker. I think he had Boston Scott completely covered on one particular rep. And, I mean, that guy's the height of shite. He must be really difficult to cover.
I know. I'm getting big Mick and Parsons vibes here, Mick. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I mean that's massive to put against him, especially he is still a rookie and he will have limited snaps probably on the edge because we have guys like Hassan Reddick, we have Josh Sweat, we have Brandon Graham still,
Derek Barnett,
Derek fucking Barnett to use his Sunday name. So I mean, this guy's still the fourth option on a defensive line that's constantly rotating, and I'm really excited to see this guy. I hope he gets as many reps as possible because he's just so. And the way he speaks as well, the way he carries himself, he just seems like a franchise guy. He looks like a guy you can sort of build a defense around because he's just so likable, and you can see his leadership qualities coming through already. And we're only a couple of weeks into camp. Unbelievable.
I'm not very au fait in my I'm about like 10 years into the NFL now, and there's still certain formations I'm not quite completely with. So when we're talking about the defensive line here, have any football teams in the past just had one defensive tackle and 4 defensive ends, like a 5 front, 1 D tackle in the middle trying to take on the center of someone else, and just have like 4 defensive ends just like fly around? AJ, I feel like you'll know the answer to this question.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we ran that when I was, I must have been in middle school. It's called the 5-2. It's a variation of it. It's 5 down linemen, and it's a nose tackle, and then the 2 defensive tackles can be defensive ends or defensive tackles or whatever. Yeah. Technically, they'd be defensive tackles, but I don't know if you've watched. I'm sure you've watched the Steelers whenever Dick LeBeau was still the defensive coordinator, and it would just be a line of 8 guys.
Yeah.
And then, just say your prayers, sort of. No one knows who's coming. It could be the safety coming down and a defensive lineman dropping back. But at some point, Phil, that just becomes like, especially with what the Eagles have, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it very well could be Nolan Smith in the defensive backfield, and then he's coming up and blitzing for a safety blitz, or frankly, you guys are lucky enough that dude is probably athletic enough to play safety a little bit.
Yeah, he probably could. I mean, I'm just imagining now, like you've got Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith in the linebacker position, like off the ball, right? You've got Derek Barnett, and you've got Sweat and Graham on the defensive end on either side, and then you've got Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in the middle. I mean, you don't even need Fletcher Cox in there. Can you imagine those like 6-7 guys just absolutely pulverizing teams? I mean, you'd have to get that ball off pretty quick.
I don't think that this defensive line. I think this defensive line is going to do things reminiscent. I don't know if your fandom goes back this far, but like
last year when we nearly broke the records.
Well, I'm talking like New York Giants having no business playing with, let alone beating, the Tom Brady-led undefeated Patriots, where all they did was rush 4, and that was, it was game over for the greatest quarterback of all time even. So, just the rotation, these guys will be fresh all game. You guys have to be we're excited, and I didn't admit that I enjoyed anything Philadelphia related until like 18 months ago. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like a lot of Eagles fans would have told you that if they weren't around for the Super Bowl. Phil probably told you that, to be fair.
2020 was not enjoyable.
We started this podcast in November 2020, and oh my God, it was a time. I mean, I don't know how we lasted the rest of the season and decided to continue on into 2021 at one point, but we did. Phil, is there anyone else on the defensive side of the ball that you've been particularly impressed with? I know we've talked about Blankenship. Have you been keeping an eye on any of the cornerbacks, Zach McPherson, Maddox, Goodrich?
No, not the cornerbacks per se. I was going to touch
it's
on
not really the position groups that you look at, is it too much? You're looking at the offensive line, defensive line, and the wide receivers.
You've got Bradbury, Slayer, and whoever else is coming in to back them up, and I think that's where you really need to touch on those. And it would be more concerning if there was plenty of news on the cornerback, because that would probably be a bad thing for the 2 starters that we've got. But yeah, Jalen Carter on the defensive line has. For me, like I've said before, I get bothered by external stuff, I can't shake it as much as other people can. So I was a bit nervous him going in. I was like, this guy's going to have to.
Yeah, we talked about this on the pod. Yeah,
be everything and more. And I think he's doing that. And I think he got off to a blistering start, sacking quarterback on the first training play, or sacking. I know it's training camp and sacks is a loose term, but to attack camp from the off is a good sign. And obviously he's impressing everybody. Going in on one-on-ones with Landon Dickinson and getting strong praise from the King Kelsey in the centre.
Yeah.
I think we need him to be that player, and it's sort of a question of with him and now Jordan Davis sort of taking his second season. I think there's a lot on those two guys.
I'm getting goosebumps.
It's going to be
just thinking about it. Like
it could be.
I won't tell you what else I'm getting. Sorry.
Could be absolutely.
We are live.
And he's basically come out and said his goal this season is Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that's the kind of you want from a player going in. You want a guy going, I've only got one shot of this, and this is the only thing that matters. Personally, obviously, he cares about the team and would love to be getting to the Super Bowl and winning it in his first season in the NFL. But from a personal accolade point of view, to already be setting out in the first week of training camp is a good sign. So I'm looking forward to seeing him game one.
Can I die on a hill real quick?
Yeah, we love hills and dying.
Yeah.
Primarily hills.
So, have you guys heard anything collectively about what Sidney Brown's performance, safety from Illinois, his performance has been in camp? I was reading a little bit. It just looks like he's running with the 2s and the 3s right now, which is on par for a third-round rookie. That's where he should be. This is Sidney Brown and his compatriot, who unfortunately for you guys did go to the Washington Red Hogs, Jertavius Martin, the other safety from Illinois. These two are so good. That's my hill that I'm dying on, and I'll keep it Eagles related.
Yeah.
I'm dying on the Sidney Brown hill. I would have to know what the rumors are out of camp to kind of project maybe whether he's picking up the defense quick enough to get some time. Because if he's not, it's going to take another year. But this dude had the highest athleticism score in the entire draft. He was when we did our combine breakdown, this guy jumped out like no one else compared to his peers, even his cohort at Illinois. I mean, I love this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the answer is not a lot, to be honest, AJ. There's not been a lot of noise out of camp so far from Sidney Brown. He's not been getting a lot of first-team reps. No one's really talked about him in any of the interviews so far. I did a quick little search there just while you were chatting to see if I'd missed anything particular, and the only real chat is that he's down with the 2s and 3s. So I think your estimation that he's young, he's a rookie. There are more experienced guys in there. He didn't get taken early in the draft. So I think probably learning the defense a little bit, taking some time before he really gets some action. So I would go out there on a limb, or maybe not die on a hill, and say I think we need a little bit longer in camp to see what Sidney Brown's all about. But like you, very excited about where we picked him up, and also very excited about his potential, because his potential is absolutely off the charts when you look at his athleticism. And that's something that Howie looks at on the defensive and offensive side of the ball, is athleticism and how that can translate with good coaching. So likewise excited, maybe not as excited as you sound, but certainly excited to see what he can do. I don't know, Mick, have you picked up anything else on the radar?
Not from training camp. Like you said, he has been running with the 3s. I started off the podcast talking about Kayvon Wallace taking most of the reps at safety beside Reed Blankenship, who has definitely cemented him as one of the starting safeties. And Sidney Brown has a great case to make for playing alongside Reed, but we need to see it. We need to see it in camp. It's still early days yet. We've only put on pads for the last practice, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on Thursday and Friday for open practices, and of course, like moving into game 1, game 2, game 3 of the preseason, because I expect Sidney Brown will probably get his chance to show what he can do in those games where he's playing either the box safety or playing a bit of post. he could probably play either position because of his athleticism, what AJ says, what he's got, his traits, what he did in the combine. He flies into tackles. He doesn't maybe need improvement on his targeting skills, but this guy glides on the fields on roller skates. If you watch the tape, he looks like he's on roller skates when he's on the field because he's so fast, he's so quick to the ball. He's unbelievable, and I wrote it in when we were doing a rookie preview that he could be the shagger we're looking for.
Shagger. Oh, we haven't named the Shagger this year. He could be Shagger. From memory, he bit a bit on wide receiver routes and needed that speed to kind of catch up from memory. Haven't heard any of that out of training camp yet so far, but a couple of things on that. AJ, you're like an ultra HD now, so someone stopped watching Family Guy in your house, clearly, and also
modern family.
I'm sorry, Modern Family.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know about you, Mick, but like when the Eagles put the pads on for training camp, do you like me wear pads to go to bed and sleep for the rest of the off season in pads? Is that just me?
Do you buy pads? Do you mean incontinence pads? Because that's what.
That's. I was gonna say, are you talking about my downstairs pads?
Yeah. I'm talking pads all over. See, AJ, you're on the podcast, and you're a bad influence. So, I don't know.
We're getting an insight into Liam's bedtime routine at the moment.
Poor Katie. It's not too late, Katie. It's not too late.
All right, we're getting out of control. All right, before we move on to the next part of the podcast, any other questions, AJ, you have for us on what we've seen in training camp so far, or what we're excited about from this team?
No.
No.
Can we take a minute to speak about Jalen Hurts, though?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Go, Mick. Go.
No, it's just because, like, a lot's been said over the entire offseason, I suppose, from when the loss of the Super Bowl to how Jalen Hurts is going to recover from the Super Bowl, and whether he takes a step back in year 3, or he adds more tools to his belt and becomes another Batman that Philadelphia needs. And so far in camp, I think he's been immaculate. He has thrown into tight spaces. He's put drop balls into AJ Brown's hands. He has he's run the check downs with Smith, and he's taken care of the ball as well. He's thrown no interceptions so far in camp, which we can't say for Dak Prescott.
No,
but I mean, he's just taking care of business, and that's what he does. He got paid a hell of a lot of money in the off season. We thought, what is Hurts going to look like this year? And he looked immaculate. That's the word that I've got for him this year. It's immaculate.
I just think we're seeing the year-on-year progression of a perennial superstar in the league. I mean, this guy has been written off at nearly every season for the last 5-6 years of his college and his professional career. This guy just made it to the Super Bowl and would have been, MVP had Patrick Mahomes not injected cocaine into his eyeballs and his arse to still be able to play on one leg. Like he is, obviously, jokes aside, Patrick Mahomes is amazing, but he has proven people wrong. And there are still people saying now that Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts was sensational last year. People wrote him off when we drafted him. They wrote him off when Carson Wentz went. They wrote him off when we didn't trade for Wilson. And they wrote him off on the way to the Super Bowl. They wrote him off getting to the Super Bowl, said he wouldn't perform in the Super Bowl game. And they're writing him off now, saying he won't be able to have the same season he has. And time again, he's proving everyone wrong because his character is unquestionable. And when you have an unquestionable character, you will work so hard to make sure that everything you're saying, you back up with, that you're not false, you're not fake. And I said this in preseason last year. He went away last year and spent a couple of weeks with Tom Brady to really learn how to be better on his accuracy, to be better on his throws when he's becoming under pressure, be better on his short, medium, and long throws. And he continues to do that. Every single thing I'm hearing coming out of camp from the beat writers is the word immaculate. And they're talking about his accuracy. You look 18 months ago when AJ hated the Eagles. 18 months ago, everyone said that Jalen Hurts couldn't hit a barn door. All he was a running back. There's still people we know here saying he's just a running back. He's not. He was one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the league in accuracy last year, in passer ratings last year, in touchdowns and interceptions last year. He can kill you on the ground. He's getting better accuracy wise. That's all we're hearing out of camp. I mean, there's so many things that need to happen to take any team to the Super Bowl. The Eagles have a stacked roster, and on paper, they have to be one of the favorites to make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But there are so many factors that have to happen on the way there. But if you're going to ask me about this quarterback in this team, which I'm adding in the second part, where we stand right now, if everything goes to plan, if luck goes our way, and if injury goes our way, then I can't see us being anywhere else than the Super Bowl this season. And Jalen Hurts will be a large, large part of that.
What did you make of the lock screen? Has everyone seen that before?
Yeah.
He
got asked about it today, I think, didn't he?
He did.
And he's basically saying that...
For those listening in, the lock screen was a picture of Jalen Hurts walking off the Super Bowl field, looking distraught with confetti coming down, but also looking a bit focused as if to say, I don't want to walk away feeling this again.
Yeah, and he's come out since and said, like, if it were up to me, you wouldn't see it. So it's like it probably confirms what everyone was thinking, which he uses it as motivation, and it's another string in the bow for when you're talking about how he's got the above the shoulder stuff locked down. He knows what he needs to do. He's so focused. The money hasn't changed a single thing, and he's using that every day. Every time he opens his phone, he's reminded of where he was and where he wants to be, and I'd say it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's good.
What's your lock screen? What's your lock screen?
My lock screen is Bodie, obviously.
Mine's Jalen Hurts.
Obviously. You can tell you haven't got any kids, Liam.
Yes, hopefully. On that note, we're going to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with the NFC East game. Awesome. And we're back. Those watching live knows we never went away. Those listening in have just heard our lovely, illustrious co-host Mick with his dulcet tones talking about, of course, our sponsor, Loch Lomond Whiskies. Excellent. I'm going to probably pass the reins here, Phil, to you, my friend, as you've done some of the legwork on this. Is that all right? Can I pass it over to you for this?
You certainly can.
Excellent.
Those who have been listening to us for a while now know that last season, as we touched on at the start, we had a little game last season where we each drafted a combined NFC East team. We did it off the cuff. We did it with a table on a Word document, and we decided to bring it back this year. And we've invited AJ on to be the fourth because we were missing a fourth to make it into a sleeper league. So I did create a sleeper league to put the teams in theory onto, just to see how they would do over the course of a season, see which team would actually be the best based on their actual performance over the season. It was quite interesting. Like I said, Liam couldn't help himself but explain that he was victorious, but he did draft a better team. I think it was safe to say he had AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts in there. I don't know how
I don't think I won the vote, though, Phil. We put a vote out on Twitter, and I think I came last in the vote of who the best team was.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a popularity contest. But so we decided to bring it back this time. But this time we're going to do it actually on Sleeper. We've got AJ loaded in, as you can see on the screen now. I did a randomized draft order, so it is Liam with the first pick, and it will be a snake draft. Simply put, we're going to go through and draft our teams. There's only a starting lineup. There's no bench players or anything like that. It's literally just one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, tight end, kicker, defense. I think that's it, if my maths does me well. There are a couple of rules, boys.
Hello.
No biting.
You already know them, Liam, but it's you must draft a player from each NFC East team. You can't just hoard all the Eagles to yourselves. You have to draft at least one position from each team. So there will be judges violation, penalties, and all that sort of stuff. Let me just bring up my.
Can you draft? So? For example, if we like game theory here, I know AJ's all about big game theory. If I'm thinking game theory here, like can you draft more than one quarterback to block out? So someone has like a quarterback 3, or is that not allowed?
No.
There's
So
no
that's
bench,
specifically
so
why there's no bench. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So essentially, that it's
That's a wasted pick.
Yeah, it's a wasted pick, and also we hate you, and we'll kick you off the podcast, and we'll just do this with ourselves. So everybody happy? I mean, I might as well click start draft now. There's no times up, so
here we
Liam,
go.
you are up, Park, or you are ready to pick. So,
Okay.
one thing is, I did say if you have got it up, the guys should have all their own sleeper league entry on their own phone, so should be able to make their picks automatically. But I'm here on hand with the master switch to put them in if people need me to. So Liam, let's not make this really terrible listening shit. Let's try and get this show on the road.
I mean, I got pick 1.1, and I've just spent about 6 minutes talking about this guy. And
It's obvious, isn't it, really?
I mean, I thought about it. I genuinely thought about going non-quarterback, making you guys go quarterback, and then perhaps picking up 2 more premium players at the wide receiver or running back position. But then I remembered who the other 3 running backs were. The other 3 quarterbacks were. The other 3 quarterbacks were. Dak Prescott is throwing pancake interceptions. Like he's never had pancakes in his entire life. We've got Daniel Jones, who is the actual running back quarterback of the class, and I can't even remember who Washington
Howell,
have.
baby.
No, I know, but I mean, come on, Howell.
Stop shitting all over my roster, man.
Without any further ado, the first pick of the 2023 NFC East British and Irish Eagles draft. Liam O'Neill selects, speaking in the third person, quarterback from Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. Oh, I have to do it, don't I?
Yeah. No, I can do it, but I shouldn't over the ground.
No, I'll do it. All right, I'm locked in. You're just hoping for a mistake, aren't you? You're hoping for like a slip of the finger.
Well, that brings AJ on for his first pick. Take it away, AJ.
So my internet has been sort of in and out. It might be all this Philadelphia stuff, but I'm gonna keep it on the Eagles, and I'll have some. I'm punting. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am punting on quarterback.
You can't take a punter, only a kicker.
I am punt. You know what? I'm gonna take. Give me Notre Dame's Hunter Smith with the second pick, punter from class of 2005. No, give me AJ Brown because that's my first name, and because he's very good at football. And I'm punting on quarterback.
And you've also definitely taken the picks that they both wanted to take next. So.
Suck, man. Honestly, who invited this guy onto the podcast? Stop the pod! Like, get out of here, man! I was banking that I was going to get AJ Brown on this pick. I was like, I was
thinking I was going to get him on the turn. To be honest, mate, I was thinking you guys are all going to go quarterbacks. I'll get the first wide receiver off the board. Fuck's sake!
There was no way he was getting past me, Phil. And you've just put me in a just awful position because you know what I have to do in it, and you know I'm probably forced into taking a Dallas player. And
you're taking CD Lamb,
and I absolutely hate Dallas. And
honestly, there's got to be a fine for this. By the way, anyone listening in, a fine for taking the first Dallas player in the NFC draft.
Honestly, I think we should have made this an IDP league, Phil. By the way, and so we could have had Ed Rushers in here. Okay. I'll stop blabbing on now. I think I'm going to have to take CD Lamb.
Wow.
We need to like a
Oh, I've got that.
Oh man, we really botched it with the soundboard. Good luck.
Oh no,
Oh, no.
it's gonna go on for ages now, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Oh
Well,
no.
That's enough.
Okay, that's
Oh,
enough.
I'm really disappointed. I was really hoping I wasn't going to have to choose between all three of the remaining quarterbacks. I was hoping the choice was going to be made for me, and I could just make out that I wanted that guy all along. And now I've got to pick between who I'd rather. I don't know. I mean, I had my hopes set on Sam Howell just as an outsider because I really thought he was going to be the one left, and I was like, do you know what? I like the guy. I think he's going to have a good shot, it'd be exciting, and I won't have to pick Daniel Jones with Dak Prescott. But is it Mr. Interception or Mr. Interception? I don't know. I think based on the fact that yes, he's going to have a lot of interception, but just he is the next best quarterback in the NFC East as it is, and I think it's going to be it's going to have to be Dak, I'm afraid. Oh God, cue the noise. Oh no.
Oh.
This is going to be like what AJ has single-handedly managed to absolutely ruin this draft from the very first.
See, I
round.
genuinely thought having the number 1 pick here in this draft was going to screw me over so much because as soon as I picked Hurts, you weren't going to worry about it so much. But the fact that it's now gone Hurts, AJ, and CD has really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons and helped me out a bit.
That can't be real. What you just said.
The cat. You never heard that phrase before?
That cannot be real.
So, yeah, it's 100% real. So, like, do you know the context?
I mean, I know what cats and the other thing are.
So, like, if someone throws it, have you ever heard the word spanner in the works?
I'm with context clues. I'm with you there.
Okay, so same thing. Spanner in the works, or he. So, like, if someone does something you weren't expecting, which is going to change your mind, he's really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons there. Yeah.
Basically,
you learn something new every day, AJ.
Oh boy!
Really
you know what? I could just say whatever too, and just tell you it's an American saying you don't know about.
There you go. You think I'm lying to you, but I'm really not.
No, I don't think you're lying to me, but it does open an opportunity for me to just make a bunch of stuff up for the rest.
And
of
I
the
think
show.
you definitely should. I would encourage that behavior.
Yeah.
it's a real knee slapper of a draft, as AJ might say.
Yeah.
Hey.
Depending on what's slapping. I'm not going to
I'm thinking
Right. All right. Okay, Phil. Are you sharing the screen, Phil, or is it Mick? This is great listening to
It
the
is
podcast.
So I'm obviously on the turn, so I get to take my next pick.
Yeah.
And I'm torn between. This is where it gets difficult because you're trying to predict what the other guys are going to do in the next 6 picks before.
This is what you did last year, Phil.
And I ended up having a terrible team, which actually didn't do too badly.
Hey,
until
Phil,
Carson
don't
Wentz
wade
fell off a
too
cliff.
far into those mental waters. That's a dangerous place.
I know.
You're treading, my man.
You don't want to be going into
go
my
there.
mental cavities right now.
Don't go there.
I think based on him being the absolute core of the Giants offense and the fact that he's now signed his new contract and he's not holding out means he will be playing, I can safely pick Saquon Barkley as my next pick.
Wow.
So
So just for listeners listening in and those viewing right now, Phil, a co-host of the British and Irish Eagles podcast, has gone Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys and Saquon Barkley from the Giants. I will let you say whatever you want to say, folks.
Just hit me with it, guys. Nick, who are you going with? You should have gone with a quarterback now.
Man, to be fair, you sniped me on that pick because that's where I was going to go as well, Phil. So I don't blame you.
Thanks, Nick.
Liam's just sitting on his high horse because he had the 101, so he was always getting Jalen. But
Please go Howell here.
Sorry?
Are you going Howell here?
Are you joking? You must be joking. I have to play a little bit of redemption.
Mick, you're about to do something I'm sure that you're not going to enjoy very much, huh?
No, I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot.
Are you?
Okay. I know where you're going.
Do you know, JG, it's your adopted son.
No!
He was there.
Oh,
Jimmy
Devontae Smith.
He is going to have a contract year, man. That's
Oh.
happening. It is happening.
So Mick has gone, just to update on Mick's 2 picks so far, Mick has gone CD Lamb at pick 1.3, and at pick 2.2, he has gone Devontae Smith. 2 absolute elite wide receivers. It's a shame he's got no quarterback thrown to them. All right, I'm Ron Burgundy, and you're not in San Diego. So
Yeah.
who is your pick at 2.3? Talk us through it.
So this is where I thought Mick was going to have to make the difficult decision to take back-to-back Cowboys.
Yeah,
And that's where I thought the mental strain was coming from. I'll shoulder that burden for you.
No,
Mick,
that's the
and
constipation.
I'll have me some Imodium and a little bit of Tony Pollard.
Nice.
Nice pick. That is a nice pick. That's exactly what I was thinking as well, AJ, but I just didn't have it in me.
I respect you more for what.
Oh, this is nice.
Phil, I'm
really liking the way
I wasn't going to press the button.
Oh, this is shaping up nice. I'm really loving actually where this is falling for me here. So I'm gonna go with a guy who is also gonna have a breakout year, and he continues to have breakout years. And I'm gonna go back-to-back Eagles on my first 2 picks, and give me tight end Dallas Goedert with the 2.4 pick, please.
Derek Barnett.
Oh, you made it back to me. Oh well.
Right, I gotta make that pick. Where are we?
We should know with 3 massive Eagles fans on the podcast that the Eagles players are not going to make it back to us.
Yeah, but I have to be very aware that I have to take a player from every team as well. And as I'm looking on the board right now, I feel confident I can pick up players elsewhere that are going to get me some yardage. But I need a wide receiver 1. And as I look around, there is only, if you take the Giants apart, like there's only one more wide receiver 1 on the board. And although I'm not very confident of the quarterback who is throwing to him, give me Scary Terry. Give me Terry McLaurin from the Washington football team, soon to be known the Washington, I don't know, fuckwits.
It's got a good run.
Washington Red Hogs, as they're affectionately known.
Washington, the Washington Red Hogs.
The Washington Wasters. This has definitely we need to preface this podcast from our normal listeners as to this is a unique British and Irish Eagles podcast.
So am I doing this for you, am I?
Sorry. Let me go in. I'll do it. It's because I'm live. Let me go get Scary Terry over there. I'm very happy about Jalen Hurts throwing to Scary Terry and Dallas Goedert, by the way.
Go on then, AJ. Who's the quarterback that you're going to pick out of the remaining two?
I'm not going to take a quarterback. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm going to take a quarterback. I'm not going to take one.
AJ, me and you are locked in with the quarterback to the very end.
Yeah, but who do I mean, to be honest, if I'm going to give advice right now, if you're thinking of fantasy points, Daniel Jones, if he stays fit, is going to get a hell of a lot more points than Sam Howell's because of his leg work. So there is value in one of you picking him.
You've never seen Sam Howell at UNC if you're talking about leg work, man. That's a guy that can move.
Mick, how beautiful. Well said. Listen, Mick, I'm going to not take a quarterback so much harder than you because I'm not going to take a quarterback. We have to take one player from each team, correct? That's the rule.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I sort of backed myself into this, and you gentlemen probably want to think about this too. Not as much as me because I've definitely punted on quarterback, and I've made that clear. Give me Darren Waller because that's the only giant I want.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm getting sniped left, right, and center right now.
I mean, there is literally nothing left at the tight end position. Unless you think Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot are going to just stream off the block out as rookies.
Yeah. And I mean, I've used Used my wide receiver group, haven't I?
So far on the board. We'll do it after the next two picks. We'll do it. We'll do a recap of the first three picks each.
All right. So I think with both of the decent tight ends off the board, I'm going to have to, and I've already selected both my wide receivers. Not going quarterback yet. Me and AJ are locked in a death grip until the very last pick for a quarterback. So I will select DeAndre Swift.
Oh, whoa, nice. I wasn't so sure you might not go for Logan Thomas there when you were talking about the tight ends and putting Phil in a real hole of having like basically no scoring tight ends. But yeah, all right. I like it.
Right, yeah. So I haven't picked an eagle yet. So I'm just trying to pick what's left, but I don't think there's anyone.
Oh dear. Marcus Mariota's been doing really well in camp.
Oh dear. He said.
Oh shit.
It's tough to get thin real quick.
What do I see there? Is that Ian Book, the third string running?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my guy.
All-time winningest quarterback from Notre Dame.
Yep. Apparently, he's had a very average camp. Just in case you were wondering.
Hey AJ, check.
I wasn't.
Oh, we got some.
I love that, Mick. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I came on, I didn't see the number. All I saw was what kind of looked like a sort of V-neck scrubs and then Under Armour logo, and I was like, I didn't know Under Armour's putting out scrubs.
Yeah. He's the fitness coach for the local hospital over here, AJ.
It just looks so good on me. I am chiseled out of marble.
Mick, that's another 10 years of Under Armour for us, my friend. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
Very nice. All right, Phil, come on. Let's get us back in the game here. You're looking at.
I was just listening to the great Notre Dame chat. So it's I felt like this happened to me last year. I think I was the last pick last year. And
you are basically Zach Berman on the Birds with Fred podcast. He does this every time. He plans and he overthinks, and then he's like, oh shit.
It's more the case of I just don't know what he's saying. I feel like, I've had some good picks. I'm happy with Prescott and Barkley for where I was, but I had no idea this was where the draft was going to go.
Yeah, draft snakes, baby.
So I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey. I wish.
Well done.
I wish the fact that he's still there is ridiculous.
It's chess. We're all playing checkers.
Yeah,
exactly. Out here moving.
Exactly. I take the Moss. I can't take Moss on this. What's going on?
He's gone. He's gone, buddy.
Randy Moss still in there.
I was kind of looking at the
Hugh Jackman.
D-Jax. He might come back.
Take Hugh Jackman.
He could do a job at tight end, I reckon.
Up first one.
What'd you say about Hugh Jackman's?
I reckon he could do a job at tight end.
That's not what I heard.
No, I mean, there's a lot going on there.
I was going to.
You guys are bad. You guys are bad. You guys are bad boys. My lord.
All right, come on, Phil. Let's get this going. Let's get this going.
I'm trying to make this. I'm trying to make this
time
for people listening. I can't just pick and then move on. We've got to discuss these picks.
All right, go on.
I was going to pick McLaurin, but I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson because I'm picking up the Washington, the next best Washington player, because it pretty much drops off, apart from maybe a couple of the running backs, which I'm sure are going to go in the next couple of picks.
I think you're all sleeping on Washington. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see at least four players I'd be very comfortable with starting in my team.
Well, I've got me second pick, haven't I?
Let's do a bit of a recap here a second, just for the listeners.
Yeah, while you do that, it gives me a chance to figure out what the hell I'm going to do.
What are you going to do next? Yeah, great. So we'll just go down in order. So Liam, myself, I have Jalen Hurts, Scary Terry McLaurin, and Dallas Goedert as my first 3 picks. Sensational, really, if I'm being honest. We have no quarterback for I'm Ron Burgundy, also known as AJ from the @SWF_podcast on X. And he has AJ Brown and as his namesake, Tony Pollard, who everyone is screaming out is going to be like a top 5 running back this year. And it could happen, but he could, in my eyes, quite easily be a top 25, 30. This is the benefits of being the host, AJ. I get to diss on your teams. Darren Waller, who is past his prime, also picked as the third pick for AJ. And Mick, can't really diss this. 3 good picks: CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, and Swift, who could perhaps not be fit, but a good pick if he does stay fit. And I'm gonna put it out there and say the Phils is on par or as good as mine with Dak Prescott, Saquon Barkley, and Jahan Dotson. That's how I see the board so far, and that's where we all are. So over to you, Phil. Your pick coming up for the first pick of round 4.
Jake Elliott.
Not
quite yet.
Not a bad shout.
No. No, I think I'm going to go with another running back here, and I'm torn between one of the 2 Washington running backs here to take them off the board for you guys. I'm going to go with Brian Robinson.
Nice.
Oh, bless.
Mick has been sniped all over the shop.
Every single time you snipe me with Barkley, I get sniped again with Waller, I get sniped again with Robinson. 3 rounds in a row,
You
man.
thought Goddard was falling back to you.
Hey, mate, you've got Swift, Smith, and Lamb. Stop your moaning and get on with it.
Hey, listen, I'll moan as much as I need to moan to get the job done.
Absolutely.
Right, so
you don't have a tight end, you don't have a defense, you don't have a kicker, you don't have a quarterback. You have 2 wide receivers and a running back so far. A running back you may not even make it to the season fit, I will hasten to add.
See, Liam, the problem is, right, because fantasy football is so weighted to offensive weapons opposed to defenses. So if you're being real from it, you're going to probably take a defense because you're like the Philadelphia defense is so much better than, the Giants defense or the Washington defense getting paper, but that's not the way fantasy works. Fantasy is different from real life, and you just don't really get the points, so there's not much value there. So
I'd agree with that. You're probably talking about like a 20-point differential over the whole season, where other positions it could be like 50, 60, 70.
Absolutely. So that's the way you've got to sort of look at this thing, and if we weren't using the sleeper as the measuring tool, and maybe we were selecting defensive players or like edge players and stuff like that, it could maybe get a little bit more interesting in that sort of way. But I'm just buying time to think about it.
We know.
Good.
It's better listening though, right? By the way, why does my face look like a burnt tomato right now? I mean, I'm quite hot.
So that's because Polish sun that you've been getting.
Well, we won't talk about my stag do on this podcast, but wait till
that felt like an SAT question. I don't know if this is like only the United States, but that felt like an SAT question with only right answers. You asking, why does my face look like
correct?
X?
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah, all of the above are correct. Come on, Mick. Let's go. We got AJ for another 25 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I will have to go. God, I'm really stuck at this point. I think I'm going to go Penny. I'm just going to Penny.
Oh, wow. Nice pick.
3
I feel like
the Eagles on the bounce, man.
I feel like AJ was just about to go there.
Yeah, scooping up these Eagles.
I like that. I'm quite disappointed by that pick because that was going to be my next pick. So yeah, that does disappoint me.
Oh, Liam, he was certainly just never going to get to you. Give me Antonio Gibson as the only viable running back left.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it either. But I will say, Liam, you washed these sheets, dried them, hung them up, and you made this bed for sure.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'm
neglecting running backs like a real pro.
I'm still feeling pretty confident on my running back picks, given the injury history of Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny, and Brian Robinson, neither of which have been known for their health in their careers.
True.
So I don't feel too bad about this.
Ricky Bobby.
I don't feel too bad. I don't feel too bad about this. But I'm going to go with another wide receiver, and I'm going to go with another wide receiver who has had multiple multiple 1,000-yard seasons, no matter where he's been. And
Yeah.
he's probably going to be the number 2 wide receiver for Dallas this year because Michael Gallup isn't quite it. And I'm going to have to go with Brandon Cooks out of Dallas as my 4th pick. And I don't think there's anywhere else it would have been a faux pas had I not gone down that route, I feel.
That's right.
You got your Dallas player, Liam.
So I got what have I got here? I got 2 Eagles, I got a Washington, I got a Dallas, I got
You need
2
a
wide.
somewhere.
I got wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, a tight end 1, and I got a running back 1. All right, who we got left on the board here? I could go back up to Saquon. I could go back up to Pollard. I believe Roland Jones is out injured. Malik Davis not really done much. Deuce Vaughn could be interesting. 5'5". Could make some plays this year.
He is
not
so
sure.
What,
He's tiny. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Is he an inch smaller than our favorite Eagles running back of all time, Sproles?
Yeah.
Was he 5'6"?
Yeah, I think he is.
I could go wide receiver. I could go wide receiver again. I need to look at my positions right here, real quick.
Go
Here.
wide receiver again.
That'd
I
be
can't-
super rude. Super rude if you went wide receiver again. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not allowed. I
You
need to.
can't.
Okay, I can't. Okay, well, this makes my decision really easy for me. I'm quite happy with that. I'm gonna go with. Has Antonio Gibson gone?
He is.
Yes.
Shit. I'm gonna go with. Give me Kenneth Gainwell. Give me Kenneth Gainwell. Give me Kenneth Gainwell because I'm going to back this up. I do not believe DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny are both going to be fit for the season. Ergo, Gainwell is going to be running back 1 or running back 2, probably very early in the season. And I apologize for my waiting there.
On to you, AJ. Who's your quarterback?
I don't know if you're trying to manifest it, but I can neglect a human being
course
like
he is.
nobody else you know. Okay.
Yeah, of course he is. He's trying game theory badly.
Oh boy. Talk out loud, or do I keep this all inside? You don't want to.
So you got.
Say it, man.
That's bad.
You need another wide receiver badly.
So they say.
Yeah.
It's been the word around town recently that I need another wide receiver. Give me Isaiah Hodges.
Yeah, that's a terrible pick. Well done.
Somebody had to do it.
That's the worst pick of the draft so far.
That's
Ever so
something
kind.
else. I didn't see Hodgins getting selected. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're on our
podcast.
podcast, AJ. I know you've only had 3 hours since Monday, but there's no punches pulled here, my friend. We throw all of the cats amongst all of the pigeons right over here.
I like it though. Yeah, I can appreciate it.
How do we get the pigeons? Funny, we've already got them. They're already here
in the shed.
All right, my dudes. I've been thinking about 2 players, and they're both tight ends.
Oh, okay, yeah, like it.
And it's between Jake Ferguson, it's between Logan Thomas, and there's not an awful lot between them, I don't think. Although I tell you what, Dak likes to throw his tight ends, and he'll be missing Schultz this season. Jake Ferguson could put together a season where he's tight end 1. Yeah, I'll take Jake Ferguson.
Yeah. Well, at least allows me to not give a shit about the tight end now until the last pick, because Logan Thomas, you will be the last pick of the draft. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
So now I'm thinking I'm running out of Eagles to pick. So I'm struggling to think what is a good pick.
Well, this is a fine. Where like it's his 5th pick of the draft, and he's got no Eagles players. I mean, what's going on?
I know,
Jesus.
right? It's terrible. I picked him last year, and I think
Joseph Nagata.
Yeah. No.
Is he actually even on the game?
He is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm going.
Is he 8? Oh, you mean
second-guessing
on
myself
sleeper?
now,
Probably not. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm going for Michael Gallup.
Okay.
It's my favorite Eagle.
Yeah. What's happened? Where have we gone? The draft has disappeared.
Liam, it's domestic stuff.
Oh, I see. Phil, did you get a turn down from the wife? Did you get to turn it down?
No, she needs something from the office. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys.
All right.
I hope
AJ and me will do
Eagles related.
AJ and me will do the 8 Mile rap battle. Eminem and I can't remember the other one now. How are we feeling about your draft so far, gentlemen? Mick, you feeling confident?
Man, I'm feeling good about my draft so far, but I am very conscious that I have 3 Philadelphia players, 2 Dallas players, and I need to fill the rest of my roster out with either a Giant or a Commander.
Yeah.
And the options are slimming at this moment. I've only got 3 picks left, so I definitely have to pick a Giant and a Commander within those 3 picks. So again,
how are you feeling about the quarterback situation? Because like you're in a situation here where both of you are, where I mean, depending on what Daniel Jones does, he's probably going to play most of the season. Daniel Jones, no matter what happens. Sam Howell potentially might not play all of the season, no matter what happens. So there could be a huge. I'm being real here. There could be a huge differential in points between picking either of those quarterbacks. So I know you said it's down to the last pick, but you might need to think of a bit of game theory between when you're picking between now and then.
What's up, Mick? How you feeling?
I am numb. I am numb from the waist down.
I've been sitting in an ice bath for 3 hours.
This is the highlight of the draft, because not only did I click the wrong button to turn off my camera, I ended up stop sharing screen. You also
hey, it's all good. We're all for this type of content. Don't worry, we filled it. We filled it with ice baths and stories.
You're only wrong with tenterhooks. All she wanted was some paper and some felt tip pens. I don't know what she's getting up to downstairs, but it worries and frightens me.
Story.
So next, I'm going. Like I said, I'm struggling with the Eagles side of things. And I feel like now is the perfect time to go a little bit outside the box.
Oh, we like that.
And go for the Philadelphia Eagles defense.
Nice pick. Nice pick. Phil is going to be the only Eagles fan on this draft that only picks one Eagles person or position in the whole draft. That is going to be defense.
Just need a kicker and tight end.
I mean, we're gonna send this to Coach Singleton and see what he thinks about your team in the NFC East draft.
Let's have a round of applause for Phil picking his first Eagle.
Well done.
In the 6th.
That's what you need, AJ, when you're asking Ryan to clap on your podcast. You need fake sound effects. It's so much better.
40 minutes into the draft.
Hey.
Mick has his own podcast within a podcast where he can just say something and then press a button and it'll do what he wants, which you're right is what I need, because the 2 boys that I have with me never do what I want.
Correct.
Go on then, Nick.
All right, sorry. I know I'm having too much fun. That's the problem. I'm having too much fun.
I mean, really explore the space with those buttons, Mick. I'm really into it, so pepper him, you know?
Oh, yeah. So as I was saying,
what you don't realize is that he's got emojis on the side and he just pushes emojis on the screen and they just happen.
I love it.
So quarterback is still death grip with AJ, so I'll skip that for now. I need a kicker, I need defense, and I do either need Washington or Giants in one of those positions. And do I need to do I'm struggling with myself. Oh man. I don't even want to do this. And I really don't.
Right, you got a
I know,
quarterback.
I know what I've got, but the reason
kicker
the
and a
reason I'm
defense.
struggling, right, because I kind of want the Dallas defense because I think they're head and shoulders above the other two, but that leaves me with very limited options, and it could catch me out when drafting the final two positions because if hypothetically, if I was to take Dallas defense just now, and then AJ was to take, I don't know.
He has 2 picks to take a quarterback there.
Yeah, I could
before
be taking
you have
a
your last
backup
pick.
quarterback
Correct.
because of my last pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with
Is-
that in mind,
Gonna take a quarterback. Oh, I love this. The game.
no,
What the?
I'm taking Graham Garrett, the kicker from the New York Giants, New York Football Giants. He is off the board. First kicker one.
Kicker one.
Let's go, Graham.
Kicker one is off the board. I love it.
I want total silence for this.
Okay.
I would like. I'm gonna take Daniel Jones, quarterback of the New York Giants.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt, man.
I think that's a really wise move, and I think
it is really wise. And I thought
Yeah.
Mick was getting there, and I was like, please don't, Mick. Please don't
No.
go there.
you fucked up there, Mick. I think
That makes too much sense.
you had a great
got
team
Lamb
when
and
you
Smith, I think.
when he had Lamb, Smith, and Swift, he was doing fine. Then he fucked it with Penny, Ferguson, and Gano straight afterwards.
I feel like I've had a middling draft like the whole way through. It's not been
Yeah,
terrible. It's
I'm
just
there-
not been
I'm there
exciting.
too.
Yeah,
This all the good draft vibes have dissipated everywhere except Liam's running back room. Everywhere
know.
else is like is good to whatever.
yeah. And I am torn. I'm torn, and I will tell you the players I'm torn between. In fact, have you all filled up all of your running back rooms?
Yep.
So I don't need to worry about that to my last pick. So
No,
let's
you
play some
don't.
games right here. You nearly threw me there, AJ. I nearly went straight into the running back. I nearly went straight to right. So I need to think about my defense, and I need to think about my kicker. And if I know I'm gonna go there, oh, hang on.
It's going to be
I
Jake
don't-
Elliott. Let's just get on with it.
I only need, so just to be clear, I only need one Giants player for my final 3 picks, and I can pick wherever else I want. So that helps me with this pick. I don't think I want to go there, and I can't go there, which means I could go there.
This is great entertainment.
No, Phil. This is like when they first read the script they like cold read the script for A Beautiful Mind. This is exactly what it sounded like.
I'm just googling Matt Breida's age right now. Matt
It's not a dynasty.
Breida is 28. I'm not liking his total rushing yards or his rushing touchdowns. Eric Gray, he's the rookie, right? The rookie they signed this year, Eric Gray.
Take the wee man. Take Juice.
Yeah, but I don't need to go running back yet. No one else can take him, so I might as well go elsewhere.
AJ has not got anywhere else to be right now. Don't worry.
So, okay, yeah, right. I'll hurry up. Why haven't I got the names of the kickers on here? I'm gonna go into my app. All right.
I mean, you don't know the
I don't know the Washington football team's kicker. No, the Washington Commanders kicker. Do you know him off by heart?
Of course not.
Well, that's pathetic. Really.
Of course he does.
While he Googles it.
But I don't have to worry about it because I've already got Graham signed up to a 1-year deal.
Okay, I'm going to take away what you wanted. I'm going to go with the Dallas defense.
That is some spiteful behavior.
Do you need me to do it, Liam, or you got it?
Yeah, you do it. I've done it.
He's too distraught. He can't.
Yeah. It's not a bad pick having the Cowboys defense.
All right, that allows me to go again. I went very Irish right there. And I'll go with my kicker. I have a choice of kicker between. Oh, okay. Well, this is difficult. Okay, so I have to go I have to go with my last kick. Okay, so that's put me in a bit of a spot above her, actually. So I'm going to have to go with a running back.
One of your picks have to be breeder.
Yeah, no, I've just realized
You have
that.
no choice.
I'm just getting there. Thank you.
I've just realized that.
That train just pulled up to the station. Thank you.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go Eric Gray. I'm not gonna go Matt Breida. I'm gonna go Eric Gray in the hope that Saquon falls down and Eric Gray sparks into life. Give me Eric Gray.
Lucky you, Liam. This doesn't matter at all because these guys are going to lay a number of goose eggs, regardless of what their first or last name is.
Yep. I know it's not gonna go well, but yeah, you know what? I'll take it. I'm not liking my running back position, to be fair, but it is what it is. I fucked up. I should have went Juice Vaughn first.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. I would like to just take a second and sort of all together as a community appreciate that Dan Snyder no longer owns the Washington Red Hogs. We are free. All of us. The whole city, Washington, D.C. is free. It's still a bit of a cesspool, but for totally different reasons. But give me the Washington Red Hogs defense force.
Nice. That doesn't leave you much on defense.
No, it forces my hand, man. It forces my hand. Because for my next two picks have to be both
How
terrible. Has to be Howell and the
Giants
New York
defense.
Giants defense. So I mean, at this point in the draft, so yeah, let's go.
Can I just ask you, and you can shit all over my team as well, but can I just ask you, Mick, how you feel about your tight end being Ferguson, your kicker being Gano, your defense being the Giants, and your quarterback being Sam Howell?
I feel okay. We'll find out at the end of the season. We'll find out at the end of the season.
Well, my two picks now have no other choice other than to be a kicker and the Logan Thomas lowly tight end. And so I think it's clear that I'm going to go for Jake Elliott as my kicker since I can pick whoever I want. I haven't pigeonholed myself into a particular team, which was my strategy all along. Although that does leave me with... I'm not even going to look down for him because he's really low down.
689. He said even lower.
259.
259. All right, not too bad.
And that is my draft finito. So on to you guys to wrap it up. And Sam Howell, as expected, has gone to Mick, bringing it to AJ to bring in his final pick, which is going to be a kicker, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
And well, the last two picks are going to be kickers. Leaving you with either the Washington... Who is the Washington kicker anyway?
I did say that earlier.
Great question, Phil. Excellent question.
Does anyone know who the Dallas kicker is? Is it possible to search
Dallas don't know who the Dallas kicker is at this moment in time.
I was gonna say. I mean,
it looks like Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, I saw that, but he had projected no points. So
a soccer star who played at Notre Dame, Brandon Aubrey.
Okay. All right, who's that one for Dallas?
Yeah,
Brandon Aubrey.
I don't think that's right. But okay.
I'm not.
Joe Slisle.
I'm not planting my flag yet. Let me. Unless Phil planted it, then it's fine.
No, I'm just trying to search for them on this thing.
All right, okay. I know who the Washington kicker is.
The Dallas one's Pascanio.
Michael Badgley. Good old Mikey.
Oh yeah, so he is.
Tristan Vizcaino.
Yeah.
Tristan Vizcaino. Give me that one. That appears to be, at present, the Cowboys kicker.
Try Stan. Stan is his full name.
What the?
I'm loving the sleeper reaction on this one. Sleeper's losing its mind on this draft because it doesn't understand what is going on.
Someone tell me who the Washington kicker is. Is it Joey Slyle? Give me Joey Slyle. Slye.
Even if it's not, give him Joey Slyle.
Joey Sly.
Hang on. Wait. Is he? What's it say about him? It's not him.
It's not him.
He's projected points apparently. Can I have Slyle or Badgerly?
You can have one of them. You need to pick one though. I mean, Sly is ranked higher than Badgerly, from what I remember. Yeah, so
give me Slyle. I'll take a punt. I'm taking a punt on Gray. I'll take a punt on Slyle.
You were talking about the back end of rosters, man. Yours is horrible.
Yeah, it's not great.
You're a bit top heavy.
What the?
That is the draft complete.
Mick, I'm assuming that you have a fairly limited number of buttons to push. Yes.
There's only 6 emojis.
I have so many buttons. I've got all of the buttons.
All right, let me do a recap and let's get the hell out of here. All right, so we will do the draft order starting from right to left this time because we did it from left to right last time. So we'll start with what I think is probably the most balanced draft team of them all and potentially the most sensible draft team of them all, and that is Phil's team. #the fence. Dak Prescott, a quarterback, 2 running backs of Saquon Barkley and Robinson from Washington, not Bijan, who is at Atlanta. Not great wide receivers. Wide receiver 2, 3 on both teams. Jahan Dotson and Michael Gallup. A very strong Philadelphia Eagles defense. The best kicker probably in Jake Elliott, and I don't know, the 3rd or 4th best tight end. I can't pick between those with Logan Thomas. So not a bad team, Phil. Well done. Well done, sir. We'll go with Mick's team. There you go. Bit late, Mick, but all right. Yeah. We'll go with Mick's team, and at quarterback he has Sam Howell, who will play a total of 4 games this season. He has got 2 seriously impressive wide receivers. The best 1-2 punch. Yeah, definitely by a mile in CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Smith. 2 incredible running backs, both of who will be in hospital by week 6 in Swift and
in the same hospital.
In the same hospital, I'm joking. Swift and Penny. Jake Ferguson at tight end. Graham Gano at kicker, and the New York Giants defense. Fairly well-rounded team there, Mick. Well done. And at quarterback, I am Ron Burgundy, also known as AJ from at SWF_podcast on X.com, maybe. He has Daniel Jones at quarterback. Decent points. I think Daniel Jones will get starts. His 2 running backs are very strong. He's got Antonio Gibson if he beats out Chris Rodriguez Jr. and also Brian Rogerson Jr. Well, hopefully they're just his juniors and he tells him he's a senior and tells him to fuck off. That was a terrible joke. I will move on. Tony Pollard and Anthony Gibson. AJ Brown at wide receiver, which is an incredible wide receiver 1. Unfortunately, he has Isaiah Hodgins, who no one knows about. At tight end, he has Darren Waller, who could be an absolute stud or could go missing. And he has the Washington Commanders on defense. And I cannot pronounce the Dallas kicker, Vizcaino or something like that.
I can't.
Getting there, yeah.
And I will go with the best quarterback in the NFC draft with Jalen Hurts, as I did have the first pick, so I can't really claim much on that front. 2 of my wide receivers that I'm throwing to are Scary Terry McLaurin and Brandon Cooks. I'm very happy about. I have the best tight end in the draft in Dallas Goedert. I fail a little bit, quite a lot, at running back. A lot needs to happen for Kenny Gainwell and Eric Gray to be running back 1 for both of their respective teams, for the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. I have the Dallas Cowboys in defense, who are probably the 2nd best defense on the board. And I have a kicker who will probably be working in McDonald's within the next 6 weeks. And that is the end of the draft, folks. We will put this up on social media. You can vote. The forfeit for the draft will be that the winner will ask the loser to pay a nominal amount of their choosing to a charity of the winner's choosing. We will obviously, at the end of the season, and the end of the season results and awards, AJ, we will have you back on the podcast probably before then, but if not, definitely then, to discuss those. We have been the British and Irish Eagles podcast. AJ, Phil, Mick, thank you all for your time this evening. Good afternoon to you as well, AJ. We'll be back next week with our next podcast and a special guest, no doubt. We'll speak to you then, and we love you.